There we go. And we're back up and running, secondary stream. So we kicked down the latency and, internet shenanigans. Like we said, when it's like rainy, which it is today, for some reason, internet is just not great, but it is what it is. Hopefully the stream is a little bit better this time around. So back on stream 2. Actually, I should probably end stream 1. That's usually how it goes. All right. Give it a second, let people sort of populate in here. Baby back B, baby back B. In a moment I wake up, before I put on my makeup, I say a little prayer for you, and ever in my heart, and I'm always love you. However, that's long enough. So, next up is, would you be high on the Vikings signing Josh Gordon? Imagine Holton Hill and Gordon in camp. Well, since you can't get suspended now for weed, you can only get fines. I mean, it may be okay, maybe not. Actually, let me make sure that the other stream is closed, because that'd be kind of embarrassing if it was still up. Woo! I'm surprised we haven't had more. Technical difficulties with the number of streams that we've done, especially on draft night, with everyone and their mom just using the internet. Like, how did that not? All right, so how? Great. So does this just stay forever? It's kind of funny. All right, so how do I find old streams? If only there was some easier way to manage this. But since there is not, it's just so weird. So crazy. All right, so I'm just trying to end the old stream because I didn't hit end stream. I just switched it over on the OBS. But of course, this thing has to be a pain in the ass. Whatever. I guess it'll stream forever. So, anyways, we're back. We got some Q&A. We're back on that excellent connection. Boom. All right, next up is Rodgers got Rodgers, except Love isn't a number one overall talent like Rodgers was. It's fair. Cyberboy123. I would love to see the Vikings run the wishbone formation this year one time. I think we have enough athletic guys to do it. So it would be get Conklin on the field, get CJ Ham on the field, put Oli Udoh in the backfield, or Chris Hinton. Yeah. And you'll see on the video breakdown of Kyle Hinton, I call him Chris Hinton a couple times, and maybe that's just a Freudian slip, because Chris Hinton was a bad man back in the day. All right, so Chris Hinton, he was one of the best offensive linemen in the league for a number of years. And if you don't remember him, he was the number 4 overall pick in the 1983 NFL draft. And that was the one where the Baltimore Colts had taken Juan Elway, at number 1 overall, and then John Elway was like, no, I don't want to go to Baltimore. And then Baltimore was like, screw you, you're gonna play for Baltimore. And then John Elway was like, screw you, I'm gonna go play third base for the Yankees. And then Kyle Hinton was just like, I'm just here to play ball, man. And he was picked up by the number 4 by the Broncos. Then eventually a trade gets worked out, and then Chris Hinton goes and is just a phenomenal offensive lineman for a number of years with the Colts, Falcons. Actually played a couple years for the Vikings. So Chris Hinton, I mean, if Kyle Hinton can have any close to a career that Chris Hinton did, I think that's a massive, massive win for the Vikings. Actually, does he even have a PFR page? No, I guess not. Oh, well. All right, so that's Kyle Hinton. Boom. Next up is fantasy question. One keeper league, half PPR. Mike Evans or Miles Sanders. Lose 8th round pick for keeping both of them. I would pick Sanders just because I feel like Evans is starting to age out a little bit. If you can trade him, well, I guess if it's a keeper, so I guess I can't really trade him. But yeah, I'll pick Sanders because I think that he, in second year in Philly, I think his production is really going to pick up. Next up, Tristan. Will you react to realistic random skit of how the Packers draft went is extremely funny? Rohit Inem Pudi. Do you think Jeff Gladney or Cam Dantzler has more potential to become that shutdown corner in the league in a few years? I think they both could. I mean, hell, Cam Dantzler, like if he has a couple of cheeseburgers, like Cam Dantzler, if he adds 15 pounds, he's going to be a legit force on the outside. Where Jeff Gladney, El Jefe, I mean, he's really feisty as is, and I think he's a pretty damn legit corner. Like, I don't care that he's 5'10". M. Cat Natch. Andy, I absolutely love the podcast. My boyfriend is a diehard Vikings fan, and I couldn't help but get hooked on your stuff. I'm a Denver fan, though, and was hoping you could do a quick overview on Denver's draft. What are your thoughts? Well, T. Cat Natch, shout out. Also, shout out to your BF. You got good taste if you're dating a Vikings fan. Boom. So, Broncos draft. I friggin' love the Broncos draft. So, off the top of my head, Jerry Jeudy, Hamler. They got Cushenberry. Didn't they pick Nathaniel Moody later too? Oh my god, yeah, I forgot about this. So Jerry Jeudy is going to come in, be an absolute stud with Cortland Sutton. Sutton is that big-bodied outside the numbers receiver. KJ Hamler adds that speed element. Of course, they see what happens with Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman with Kansas City twice a year. So Denver coming in, and now the first two picks for Drew Lock, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler. Ujamendia is a pretty solid quarterback coming out of Iowa. Cushenberry. Now, you think about Denver's offensive line. Broncos where the Garrett Bowles pick is very dude's kind of terrible, and he's a penalty machine. But you look at, now this is the complete antithesis of the Viking zone scheme. Like, they're picking up some massive earth-moving dudes, right? So Cushenberry, picking him up. Nathaniel Moody, of course. Jose Varquez, brand new monthly Jerome. Shout out, what's going on? As well as the free agent signing of Jawan James and drafting Garrett Bowles. Also bringing in Dalton Reisner. You forget last year, second-round pick. Then picking up Glasgow as a free agent too. Like, they're building their offensive line to absolutely move people, which is they're going to run a lot of power. They're going to run a lot of gap. So that offensive line. Oh, plus they got Noah Fant. Oh, my God. And then they signed the corpse of Melvin Gordon. I mean, the Broncos have a chance to be really legit very fast. McTelvin Agim, teammate of Armon Watts, is a guy that I liked on the defensive interior. I don't know much about the tight end or the linebacker, but Tyreek Cleveland was doing work. Like, if you like Van Jefferson in Florida, you certainly should definitely like Tyreek Cleveland as well. But plus Derek Tutska, that's a very like Denverish pick, right? Where super highly productive and insane edge rush for NDSU coming into the Broncos there. Plus, I mean, Nathaniel Moody. I mean, hell, at this point, if he's healthy, great. If not, whatever. And also, I mean, this is an offensive line that said, hey, Ron Leary, we don't need you. All right, so that offensive line is legit. Look at all these weapons. So Drew Lock, Phillip Lindsay, one of the better scat backs in the league. Melvin Gordon, fine as a two-down running back. Then you got Noah Fant, super freak, amazing athlete at tight end, as well as Sutton, Jeudy, and Hamler. My God. It's a good time to be a Broncos fan. See, next up on the Q's and A's. You think we should trade up for Curtis Samuel, have a legitimate outside receiver? Kenneth Ada, should the Vikings trade up for Justin Fields next year if they can't trade up for Trevor? We'll see how Kirk does this year as franchise quarterback / GM / de facto God King. Jack Ellis, I see him as possibly Daniil 2.0, similar body type and athleticism. His tape reminds me of him. You agree? I think that Daniil was definitely a much more plus athlete. I think that I want him maybe a touch stronger, just in terms of play strength. But I mean, Daniil was an absolute freak, like absolutely amazing physical freak. Plus a great team player too. I mean, he could have gone anywhere else and put up 20 sacks in the season, been a first round pick, all that stuff. But yeah, he had 4.5 career sacks at LSU because they asked him to do the dirty work. They asked him to play inside. They asked him to play 5-tech. They asked him to play the run. They asked him to play left defensive end in a 4-3 under front. They asked him to do all those things. And he was like, yeah. I mean, I love playing in this defense, which was pretty sick, by the way. Like, if you go back and look at like LSU defenses, Alabama defenses, Florida, Miami defenses from back in the day, I mean, some absolutely just stacked NFL players at every single level. And plus their backups are NFL players too, which is just sick. Next up, Kyle Rippentrop. What's Washington's deal lying to the media about Trent Williams turning down the Vikings when they didn't have anything to gain since he was already traded? Also, Chris Carter was a way better overall wide receiver than Randy Moss. Well, I think initially, before the Niners trade came together, I mean, they're selling Trent Williams' name. They're saying that, he vetoed the Vikings trade just because they were trying to save face, because they were panicking, because the Vikings were the only team left after the Browns and the Jets took first-round tackles, before the Vikings took Cleveland, and even after the Vikings took Cleveland. It's like, crap, we have no suitors. We may have to just give Trent Williams away for free, and then until the Niners scooped in between day 2, day 3 to be their saving grace, because they were just trying to not look like complete morons. As I try to talk, not look like complete morons, which I don't know if they succeed or not. Chris Carter is a way better overall wide receiver than Randy Moss. Yeah. Cairo asked thoughts on Trey Lance from NDSU. He's a quarterback, right? So, sorry, I don't keep up with much NDSU besides the draft eligible dudes. All right, so Trey Lance. Yeah, Trey Lance had some like sick stats last year, didn't he? Reference. See if he has a sports reference page. I guess not. Washington Post, by the way, is eerily good at college football stats. All right, so last year passing wise, 66.9% completion percentage, nice, 2,786 yards, 28 touchdowns, 0 picks. Wow. And then 1,100 yards on the ground, 14 touchdowns, like the true blue dual threat quarterback. That's pretty amazing. That is pretty solid. James Madison. His Dukes. Man. Next up is Randy Kibbe. In your honest opinion, how likely is it we trade Cousins to the Niners to make a real play for Lawrence or Fields in the next year's draft? 2%? Maybe. Which is also the type of milk that's a little bit too spicy for Kirk Cousins. Like, 2%? You got 1%? Next up is Goddard 1. Just for hell of it, I looked at the Vikings draft, picking in the same spot and selecting the same position, but going with a different player who's available. So Higgins, Jalen Johnson, Darnay Holmes, Khalid Kareem, Rashad Lawrence. Thoughts? All right, so if they did the draft like that, I mean, I would have been okay with that draft too. Abdi, you've been preaching about Lawrence potentially playing for the Vikings next year. What would the draft look like if Lawrence and Fields stick around for their senior year? Barren. It'll be rough because, I mean, who's going to be out there? I mean, Tanner Morgan, Purdy, the quarterback from Iowa State, maybe Trey Lance. But, man, that would be rough. It'd be really, really rough. Next up is, like, we're talking 2013 draft. We're talking about, like, the first quarterback taken may be Geno Smith or EJ Manuel. I mean, that's rough. I mean, that is just absolutely rough all the way around. How do I delete this? How do I end this? I guess not. Next up is Michael Lewis. With 36 wide receivers drafted, who would you like the Vikings to sign if cut? Hamilton from Denver. Oh, I forgot they got Deshaun out there. Stills from Houston. Pettis from San Francisco. I would take Dante Pettis in a second. I may actually trade for him too. Dante Pettis is really damn legit. A great route runner. Also did damage to the Vikings in the first game of 20. PFR, Dante Pettis. Yeah, if I remember, I think Pettis caught a touchdown against the Vikings Week 1, 2018. That was we after that ass Jimmy Everson game, if you guys remember that one. Game long's career. Yeah, I just really liked his game coming out of Washington. Oh, plus he'd have Jake Browning, #chemistry. See, San Francisco against Tampa. That's 2019. Oh, there you go, Minnesota. 2 catches, 61 yards, 5 targets, 1 touchdown. Boom, right. Even though they lost. Because that was the Mike Hughes pick 6 game. We're like, oh, who got a pick 6? It wasn't Will Hernandez. Yeah. There you go. Oh, so I can do that. Boom. Made it happen, Captain. All right, next up is who we got? Who we got there? Oh, also, Jeromes, if you're watching on the live stream, hopefully this stream is a little bit better. Also, let us know where you're watching from. We'll give a couple of shout-outs here. Next up is Aaron Rodgers, BFF and lover. What one player would you really want in the last 10 years during the draft that ended up being a bust, and one player that you didn't want to turn out to be great? Player that wanted to turn out to be a bust? I don't know. We'd have to look. So Wiki will say 20. We'll go way back. Say 2011 draft. So certainly did not want Christian Ponder. All right, so who did I like in the 2011 draft? Basically liked I guess you could say Jake Locker. Vikings did a ton of homework on him. I thought Jake Locker had a great arm. Probably a little bit more thrower than a passer, but very athletic as well as Washington, and then just did not work out. I thought Nick Fairley was going to be a world beater, sure. Let's look at 2012 real quick. Man, I'd have to put a lot of thought into this one. Or like some dudes I thought were absolutely going to be dudes. Well, I knew that Trent Richardson wasn't going to be anything. I thought that RG3 may change the quarterback position, and I guess he did because he allowed Kirk Cousins to be Kirk Cousins. Let's see here. I thought McAloo was going to be really good, but of course didn't quite work out. I think health had a lot to do with that. God, I forgot about Michael Floyd. He's 13 overall. Yeah, we'd have to put a lot more thought into that one. All right, so next up is Walden Sloan. If the Vikings could be sneaky good next season, but they're probably 2 or 3 players short of being serious Super Bowl contention, who are the 3 players on the Vikings who could add to put them in Super Bowl contention? Aaron Donald, Ronnie Stanley, and I don't know, Stephon Gilmore. P.S. Thanks for pumping all the visitors during the week. Keep up the good work. Thank you for watching, man. Stanley Moros, in your opinion, who has the smuggiest face, Rodgers or Cutler? I mean, Rodgers. I mean, Cutler's awesome, by the way. I mean, Cutler's. I guarantee you, Cutler would be a ton of fun to hang out with, have a couple beers. I mean, Jay Cutler, I bet you is just really, really cool. Rodgers, not so much. Rodgers is just absolute whatever. Rodgers' face is like nails on a chalkboard, but Cutler's face looks like he drank some curdled milk, which is fine. I mean, maybe it's like the Mongol fermented milk. Maybe he likes to party. Who cares? Next up, Austin Kim. What ethnicity are you? Just curious. He is Korean. I think that's the Korean emoji. So apparently I'm 70% Japanese, 30% Korean, born in South Korea. I don't really know. I always thought that somehow, some way, sending my spit into 23andMe, but really the government database that it would find out like, oh, you were the illegitimate son of Kim Jong-il, as well as I don't know, like the Princess Regent of Japan. That all of a sudden is like, oh, I am a god king. And with Kim Jong-un, apparently, like there's 2 types of Korean vegetables, kimchi and Kim Jong-un. With him down for the count now, I was like, I guess I'm in charge, man. Whatever. Just the American jabroni just coming in, running, taking over for your prison camp gulag, just bringing Western democracy to it, and actually, feeding your people. But that's a conversation for another day. A couple shout outs. So got John from Alnado from Spain, Isaac Rupert from Pickerton, Ohio, AJC Leo near Philadelphia, Cry Eagles Cry, damn straight. Let's see what else here. Marbell 2014, Skull from Puerto Rico, Skull down there. Zach Vilich, Duluth. Shout out up north, El Norte. Preacher Paul hauling it for all y'all. Brandon rolling through Missoula, Montana. There you go. Seth V. Herman Skull from Moorhead. Roll Dragons, baby. I have a Moorhead State pullover. The Dragons. I should probably wear it on one of these videos. A skull shout from Trempelow, Jabrisky, longtime viewer. Skull from St. Michael, Evan Ojeda. Logan DeGraff, Rapone, California. Watches it pretty much every day. Love it. I just love the regulars that we see pretty much every single day in the stream. It's really cool to see. Let's see here. Madison. We got Germany. Guten Tag, Fraulein. You know, you're probably a dude. God, I mean, German food is really good. In terms of, like, everyone talks about, like, ethnic cuisine. It's like, oh, really like Chinese, really like Japanese, really like Mexican, really like Italian. German is really good. I mean, get yourself some schnitzel and some spatzel and some red cabbage and then a tall mug of spaten, and you are going to win. You're absolutely going to win the day. Get the sausage, too. Man, it's good. Gastoff's in North Minneapolis. Phenomenal. Just a really fun place. They also wore the Nazi uniforms one day, but, you know. Next up is Jose Varquez, Compton. Coming straight out of Compton. What's up? Nacho Libre, Colorado Springs. Maple Grove. John Q, pre-1K sub here from North Carolina. Shout out. Yeah, I mean, we're almost at 25K. I think we actually may hit it by the end of the week, but it's really cool. Like, people who have been with the channel for really long really appreciate that love and support. Watch us grow. I mean, 1K back when I was shooting videos on my iPhone 4. Great. And the commentary was on par with what it is now. Just crazy. St. Cloud, New Bern, North Carolina, New Jersey, Kansas, Greenbow, North Carolina, Wyzetta, shout out Western Burbs, Westchester, New York, Texas, St. Francis, Faribault. There you go. Heart you guys. Thank you very much for coming along live stream. Plus, it's just cool. I feel like we've built up this nice little, very unique pirate ship of a community, and I love you guys every single second for it. White Wolf, hate when people ask you some dickly things on the live stream Q&A. Am I the only one who think Dantzler's tape looks super good? No, he is pretty legit. Skull Nation, if you had to rank all the teams in the NFL, where would the Packers and the Vikings end up on? I would say Packers. Well, after that draft, 17, Vikings 7. No, Packers would be 38, Vikings would be 7. Brower Power 00. Remaining free agents you would like the Vikings sign. Josh Klein? Logan Ryan and Everson Griffin. Those are two guys I'm standing on the table for. Even when I stand on the table, I'm still 5'2". Val P, your expectations for Kubiak, and if he doesn't do well, who would you want to take over OC, whether internal or external? Well, Kubiak certainly had a big hand in the offense last year. Stefanski, respect, put in the work, but it really was Kubiak really helping out, especially in the running game, because the running game was basically a mirror image of what he ran in Houston, what he ran in Denver. Also, Rick Dennison certainly helping out. Let's get Alex Gibbs up in this B up in here. I understand he's not everyone's cup of tea, but dude is the pioneer of the outside zone scheme. He's amazing. And plus, like, Alex Gibbs, like, well, you only need two running plays. Outside zone to the left, outside zone to the right. And that's it. I mean, he's not wrong. I think Kubiak would do well. I think Cousins in the similar offense for multiple years is certainly going to help. I mean, Cousins from DiFilippo to Stefanski, I mean, certainly some crossover there because Stefanski was his quarterback's coach. So I think Cousins sticking in a similar system with similar verbiage, similar concepts, it would certainly benefit him and the entire offense. Tyler Roush, $2 in Super Chat. Do we extend Cook or move on with Madison? I think if Cook is cool with letting 2020 play out and do that, and then if he balls out, puts up 2,500 yards from scrimmage, pay him, whatever, or franchise tag him, I'd be okay with that too. But, yeah, looking back on some old Ezra Cleveland tape, Alexander Madison is a dude. He's a legit dude. B. Woodall, what is the biggest concern for the Vikings that you have? A lot of moving pieces, replacing that cornerback room, but I'm really hopeful about all those young kids. I don't know much defense-wise. say that left guard spot for sure. I mean, you really like the pieces. You like Cleveland. You like Hinton. You like Brandell. You like Higbee. You like Lucina coming out on the offensive line, except that's a lot of youth as well. So, I mean, there's not any spot that I'm just like, whatever. Maybe backup quarterback, but Captain 6'9", do you think Justin Jefferson will be a good with Thielen as wide receiver duo? Yeah, I mean, I think that if the Vikings cater to what Justin Jefferson does well and doesn't try and fit a square peg into a round hole, yeah, absolutely. LJ Sneets. The idea of going into the 2020 season with big question marks on the line is really concerning. How do you see the season playing out with the front office if we continue to struggle on the interior offensive line? Well, we'll see. I think that given the draft and given the wild card win, I think Zimmer and Spielman deserve extensions. At least resync it up with the Kirk Cousins contract again, which makes a lot of sense. I think all their fates are tied together. That's about it. Ethan Griffith, could you give us your version of first-team All-Pro for the entire NFL as of right now? We'll have to put some thought into that one. Tristan, what is the strategy this year for the Vikings to win the Super Bowl? We have to deal with the Saints, Niners, Bucks. Shut everyone down on defense, man-to-man, across the board, blitz the hell out of everyone, put quarterbacks on their backs. Yeah, corpse of Tom Brady, you gone. Corpse of Jimmy Garoppolo, you gone. Definite corpse of Drew Brees, you gone. As well as, I got to look this up. All right, Saints promotion Breeze. So I wonder if I can find it. It may be a little bit tough, but there was a photo of Drew Brees that they put out on like some of the Instagram promotion Saints that I thought that they had used like the old man filter on Drew Brees, but no, that's just how he looks. We may have a tough time finding it. Yeah, screw it. But, I mean, Drew Brees looks old. Like, he looks hammered, man. Like, hammered like old age. And the Vikings are going to run the piss off the ball. They're going to run play action. They're going to have Justin Jefferson getting open in the middle of the field. They're going to have Adam Thielen reverting back to his OG outside the numbers deep threat days. So, it'll work. And if not, fire everyone. Rohit Inampudi. What do you think the... Let's try this again. Rohit Inampudi. I think I nailed it. Who do you think is the wide receiver 3 for the Vikings? BC Johnson or Sharp? I mean, I'm still going to be high on BC. Like, I think that Tajay Sharp brings a lot to the table. I think he was underutilized and buried on the depth chart in Tennessee. But, I mean, BC got the time of day last year as a 7th-round rookie for a reason. I think he's super legit. I think he's a great route runner. I think he's a big team player. So bring it on. Skull Nation. If you looked at the Vikings schedule record, what will they end up with? 11-5. Lime Craze. Do you think the Vikings should have a burner in their offense? Well, the Vikings need a fast receiver is becoming the whole Vikings need a tall receiver from back in the day, 2016 with Treadwell. Where it would be nice to have some vertical speed on there. It would be nice to have a vertical element, but I mean beyond Diggs, they didn't really have one last year either. So I mean, having a bunch of possession receivers, having a bunch of slot receivers, could it work? Yeah, whatever. Tink from DeSoto. Do you think we are a guard away from a Super Bowl? Because I do. Yes. Joe Thuney one time. Steve Sampson. Watch the Dancer tape from the LSU game. Kid's gonna be a stud. Yeah. Let's see here. They put out a really great stat. PFF Vikings. They put out a really great stat here. Actually, it might be right at the top, which would be sweet. Hold me closer, camera dancer. Aha, here it is. All right, so PFF Vikings. Burrow versus everyone else in 2019, 95.2 overall grade, blah, 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 blah. Joe Burrow against Cameron Dantzler, worst grade, 13 yards, 0 touchdowns, terrible passer rating. Cameron Dantzler, the human eraser of Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, even though JJ didn't play outside. But, I mean, Cameron Dantzler has some really good tape in big-time games against big-time wide receivers. Like him against Jamar Chase, him against Judy is just really, really solid all the way around. Van Jefferson, too. Yeah. Next up is head coach. Quickly, can you name at least one ex or current Viking starting with the number 1 or so on in 3 minutes? Okay. All right, so 1, Warren Moon. 2, Sage Rosenfels. He also wore 18. 3, Jeff George, Spurgeon win. 4, Bert Favore. 5, Fat Nab, Cluey. 6 might be tough. Oh, Eddie Murray. I think Eddie Murray wore 6. Or no, Matthew Weil. There we go. 7, Cunningham. 8, Todd Bauman. 9, Tommy Kramer. 10, 11, Dante. 12, Percy. 13, Stacy Coley. Nailed it. 14, Diggs. 15, Greg Jennings. 16, Kelly Campbell. 17, Jarius. 18, also Sage Rosenfels. Also Justin Jefferson. 19, Thielen. 20, Dwayne Washington. 21, Terry Allen. 22, David Palmer. 23, Michael Bennett. 24, Robert Griffith. 25. Oh, man. Am I really going to get hung up on 25? Eric Wright? Do you wear 25? I don't know. That's fun. We do the entire numbers, but man, I can't believe I got stuck on 25. Ramos McDonald, did he wear 25? Let's look that up. Vikings number 25. We'll end the exercise there, but that actually is pretty fun. Oh, Madison. I'm a dummy. Because I wouldn't even think about like recent dudes for the most part. Eric Wright suspended. Doesn't matter. Next up, I'm sure everyone was yelling Madison when we were around 25, whatever. Next up is Jack. Not a question, but thank you very much for all the work you've been doing. Been addicted to everything you put out recently. Thank you, Jack. Skull. Thanks for watching, babe. Which pick of the draft was your favorite? Of the Vikings draft, specifically where they were, Ezra Cleveland, 58. I mean, James Lynch in the 4th round is pretty legit, too. I get the Jefferson pick. Love the Gladney pick. Overall value pick. Let's look that up. I mean, Simmons at 8 is pretty damn sick. Actually, let's look in the 2nd round. There's going to be a ton of value there. I mean, Pittman to the Colts fits what they want to do. Put him opposite T.Y. Hilton. That makes a lot of sense. Winfield to the Bucks. Actually, the Bucks had a great draft all the way around. I mean, getting Wirfs at 13, Winfield at 45, and then Tyler Johnson at 6. I mean, overall, that's just an amazing draft. Yeah, but that one, my darling, I can't get enough of your little babe. Or Washington getting Antonio Gibson at 66, which they'll find a way to F it up. But Antonio Gibson with McLaurin, it's pretty legit. It really is pretty damn good. All right, next up. I still have NDSU stats up. Mr. Popo, piggyback to a question you answered yesterday with the whole personal information in the draft. I mentioned a mom battling drug abuse, then showed the family celebrating, potentially showing the mom as well. I found it just wrong, too. Agreed with shows good stories, but not something like that. It's disrespectful. Yeah, it was a little off-putting. Hopefully they'll take that into account. But, I mean, that's something that ESPN definitely would run with because they do like those stories of underdogs, victims, overcoming that whole thing. Where NFL Network, that's why I love NFL Network's coverage. That's why I was sort of bummed that they got melded into one. Where NFL Network is just football. It's like when Mayock was at NFL Network, it was just football. When DJ now up at the dish with Rich Eisen is football. Yeah, where I would actually like legit set up a Patreon. Daniel Jeremiah and friends do the draft. So Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks, DJ. Lance Zierlein, I mean, just sit and analyze the draft. I mean, yeah. Next up, DG, was the correct term? Do you wear slippers or flip-flops? Well, they're two different things. I mean, slippers are slippers. Flip-flops are flip-flops. But, I mean, if you're going to put them all into, like, easy wear footwear, I would say slide-ons. I don't know. Logan DeGraff, thoughts on Carson Strong, quarterback in Nevada. Like him, I haven't done enough research to have an educated opinion on him. But then again, Have I really done enough to have an educated opinion on anyone? Hunter Williams, Skull from Coon Rapids. A shout out Northern Burbs. Thank you for everything. Any news about free agency for the Vikings? Nada. Not a lot going on. Abza Abdi. I think the Vikings should sign Cardell Jones and have a battle with him, Mannion, backup spot. Browning and Stanley should battle for practice squad supremacy. Cardell Jones, super intriguing coming in. I mean, if he would declare it after his redshirt sophomore year, he may have been a first-round pick. Came back for a year, was met at Ohio State. Actually, I think he got benched by JT Barrett for a couple times. I think he was a fourth-round pick. No. He got benched in the XFL for Tyree Jackson. I think that should be the death knell on 12-gauge shotgun. Rohit Inampudi. What's the news on Dalvin Cook extension? What's the max you pay for him? It seems like the team is super open to try and get something done. I would probably only go $10 million a year max and a very short deal, like 2 years, $10 million per year. But he should not go for that, nor should he. Pulvered Skull. Here's my top list of veteran free agents I'd like the Vikings sign. Everson, Logan, Klein, Reeder, Josh Gordon. I would take a shot on Gordon, pending, because he does get grandfathered in for the suspensions. Like, he doesn't get carte blanche just because of CBA change. Jordan Reed, maybe, as well as Kyle Sluter. I'd put Kyle Sluter at 1. Matty Mack. Of the 9,000 slot receivers the Vikings have, who is going to kick outside? Also, what positions are least and most important on both sides of the ball? Much love, Andy. Keep up the good work. Stay safe. I think BC is more of an outside receiver anyway. I would say Thielen be outside more. Tajay outside the numbers more. So I think that gets plenty. Rohit and Pujay. How many of the 12 UDFAs do you think make the final roster and who? I would wager maybe Lucina. I would actually think that Neville Clark may be pretty safe. So I would say Lucina, Clark, and Courtney Davis would be the 3 that I would bet on. Max Kellenberg. Thoughts on Osborne taking Dylan Mitchell's number 13? Well, Mitchell was 13, number 17. So Mitchell was number 13 at Oregon, I believe. So he just took that number, which I don't even know who 13 was last year. Numerology podcast coming soon. Derek Grandal. Would you send Reef and a 2021 second-round pick to the Patriots for Thuney? Yes, I would. Josiah Jenkins, was Trader Rick done for not picking up Tyler Johnson IV? I really thought would have picked him up. I felt like a steal. Well, I would have picked him up, but I sort of get why the Vikings went different direction than wide receiver, because super deep class. They picked up Osborne in the 5th return guy. They picked up Courtney Davis, undrafted. Probably should have been a 6th or 7th round pick in a normal draft. So I get it. It's really frustrating because I think Tyler Johnson can be phenomenal down in Tampa, but B would it be? B Woodall. Where do you think David Clowney might end up? I think Clowney may just hold out from everyone, because it doesn't seem like anyone is really in the mood to throw any decent money at Jadeveon Clowney, and he doesn't seem in the mood to play anywhere except for decent money. So this may go into the regular season, which would be hilarious to me. Jacob Brandt, what position will the greatest O-line in football play? Pat Elfline. See him as a practice squad player. I don't think he's eligible for practice squad, so he may just be out. Mario Carmona. Can't wait to see Jeff Gladney on Devontae Adams. Whew, that's going to be fun. Are there any matchups you're very intrigued to see this upcoming season with Gladney or Dantzler? I'd say Dantzler against the Detroit wide receivers, Jones and Babytron, because I think they sync up well with what he likes to do. I'm glad with Adams is a good one. I think, Dantzler against Mike Evans. Oh, man. Dantzler against Mike Evans, and then Hughes or Gladney against Godwin. That's going to be a hell of a matchup. Pittman with the Colts against Dantzler. Super intriguing to me. Let's see, through the South. Because play the South this year, right? Yeah. Then also, I'll say Jar Alexander against Justin Jefferson in the slot. That's going to be intriguing to me as well. Joe Medina, what do you think will be the weakness in the Vikings defense? Man, I think Michael Pierce will help shore up the interior against the run. I think James Lynch, Armand Watts, potentially being 3-tech will certainly help as well. You would say cornerbacks just because of the youth, just because of a lot of turnover there, but I think they're going to be pretty damn studly. So I think overall, it may take a couple weeks, but I think this defense is going to be back to being the Zimmer Hellfire defense. Brett Vuzelos, do you think Jefferson will replace Diggs? It's really unfair to Jefferson. He's a completely different player than Diggs. Diggs is a completely different player than Jefferson. But I think he will be a solid intermediate middle of the field type receiver. Think of Justin Jefferson as a taller Jarvis Landry, and you're going to have a better time. Sion Agona, what's one thing you want to accomplish before you die? Well, kids, college, get them married off, get them in careers that they like, just watch them love life, be able to pursue their passions while being very prudent about things. Grandkids, that thing. Because that is like the lasting legacy, just raising decent human beings. Cody Brown, what rookie do you think will have the biggest impact on the team? Well, it's hard not to say Jefferson or Ezra Cleveland if he starts. Ethan Griffith, 21 fan speak mock draft one time, maybe in a bit. Logan Ryan one time, yes. Stanley Maros, we the pedestrian, simple-minded fans have been beating the dead horse for a line this draft, and for a few years, honestly. How is that the intellectual godmen the Vikings brain trust cannot see the Mount Earth line and defensively entrenched? That the Cleveland pick is great. I think that Hinton pick could work out long term, but I understand. I get it. Stanley Maros also, was Joe Buck hate the Vikings? No, it's the Broncos. Joe Buck hates everyone, and rightfully so. By the way, Joe Buck seems like a legit fun dude, like away from the game where, he has to come on to the football. It's like, here we go. That was a disgusting act by Randy Moss. Diggs, sideline, unbelievable. Blah, 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 blah. But there's a clip on YouTube, I think, where Joe Buck has a couple of beers, and then they put him, he's at a hockey game. He's at the St. Louis Blues game. Has a couple of beers, and he starts calling the game. I mean, Joe Buck, I bet you Joe Buck over a couple of drinks is a ton of fun. I think he's a super cool dude. But I get it. Professional, like completely milk toast, vacuum sealed hermetically, just like, but I guess that's what you have to be in the game. Although I feel like if I did play-by-play and the color guy was Pat McAfee, that'd be a lot of fun. Just saying. Hunter Williams, do you see Burrow as a bust? I could see him busting, but I think he has enough intangibles. I think he has enough leadership. I think that kid has put in enough work that I hope he doesn't. I really hope he doesn't, because it's a great story. I mean, local kid, Cincinnati, even though Ohio's a big state, but I mean, that would be such a great story. Plus, he's got weapons around him. He's got Jonah Williams coming back as well. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for him. Lastly, Sir Meepsalot, how'd you feel about trading a 4th and a 3rd round pick for John Ross? Speed, but he's really bad. I would trade maybe a 6 for John Ross. I mean, John Ross is flat out terrible. He's not good. That's all. All right, and that's it. That is the live stream. Sorry about the technical difficulties early on, but it be what it be. Again, thank you guys for coming along. Love everyone who's in the live stream. Love everyone who's catching up on demand. You are the best. Also, if you want to donate, pull us on the Venmo or hit that join box, come a month or Platinum Jerome, do that up. About the next time. Skull, production value. See you tomorrow at 11.